tomorrow night, for the first time in nearly 2 decades, one of the greatest and most iconic matches in the history of professional wrestling makes its long-awaited return. Tomorrow night, 3 teams will step inside. Only one comes out on top. War Games, the match beyond, is back. And then on Sunday night, it is the one night of the year where Raw and SmackDown Live go head-to-head. It's a best-of-7 series. First to 4 gets the bragging rights. The tradition, an over 30-year tradition, continues. Survival is the name of the game. Sunday night will be the 31st annual Survivor Series. Hello, friends, and welcome to this very special edition of the Wrestling Forum. It is your ridiculously over good brother, Anthony Floyer, here, joined by good old MF Michael Fletcher. Our other panelist, the Phenom Michael Bullock, will be coming in a little bit late. He has some family commitments beyond his control, but we're hopeful that we'll get him in here soon enough. So he should be with us within about the next hour or so. So hopefully we'll have time for him, or if not, then MF and I will just run the show. And our other panelist, Dee Woodson, not with us tonight as well. My guess is work commitments beyond her control, but she will be with us Sunday night for the Survivor Series recap. So just wanted to clear that up. So what a way to climax Survivor Series week. I mean, are you ready for this? This is the most excited I've been for a weekend probably since WrestleMania, if I'm going to be real honest. You know, when you have the Hall of Fame and Takeover Orlando, and then of course WrestleMania, but look at this. War Games for the first time in nearly 2 decades. First time on a pay-per-view basis since the 1998 Fall Brawl. It'll be the first time in really 17 years, because they did one on WCW Monday Nitro in the year 2000. Well, we're not going to count that because of the way that one ended, but nonetheless, we got the War Games, and we're going to have plenty to say on that in a minute, and I'm going to explain the rules of that. You know, I've got the rules of that right here, so we'll get into that. And then of course Sunday night, this is what MF and I are waiting for. My show, Monday Night Raw, versus his show, SmackDown Live. We ain't holding back on this one. All I can say, that it's going to be a best-of-7 series. 4 champion versus champion matches, 2 traditional Survivor Series elimination matches, and 1 6-man tag team grudge match. Just like in any sport playoff, whether it's the NBA, the Stanley Cup, or the World Series, or what have you, first to 4 gets the bragging rights. That's all there is to say on that. So that's coming up after. But first, it's time for NXT Takeover War Games. 5 matches on the card. Let's get right into it. Our first match on the card, Cassius Ohno squaring off against Lars Sullivan. And by the way, both of these events this weekend, along with Monday Night's Raw and Tuesday Night's SmackDown Live, will all be at the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. So, man, Houston, we don't have no problem. I mean, your Astros won the World Series, and now you've got 4 nights of great wrestling action to look forward to starting tomorrow. And here we go with NXT TakeOver War Games. Cassius Ohno, Lars Sullivan. Both Ohno and Sullivan have been on rolls as of late, but it is Sullivan that should go over here as Ohno puts over the young talent on a big stage. This opening non-title match has a history of starting pushes, such as when Johnny Gargano put over Andrade Cien Almas at the last TakeOver in Brooklyn. And Almas is going to be in the biggest match of his career. We're going to get into that in a little bit. So I'm going to go with Lars Sullivan to win this match. So good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. Let's get your thoughts on our first match on NXT TakeOver War Games. Cassius Ohno, Lars Sullivan, your thoughts.
I think this is going to be a good fight. I think this is going to be a solid match. I don't know much about Lars Sullivan. Sullivan. I'm sorry, I don't really follow NXT that deeply, but I do know a lot about Cassius Ohno. I really love him. He's a really good wrestler, a bright young talent. I actually got to see him a little bit in the independent circuit on Rhode Island. And I'm sorry, man. The Cassius Ohno better than Lars Sullivan. This is an agree to disagree here, and it's probably going to be the first of many tonight. But I'm going with Cassius Ohno to knock off Lars Sullivan. So let's just get into the next fight, Anthony.
And you'll be leading off on an MF. Aleister Black, 1-on-1 with the Velveteen Dream. Wow, what do we think about this one?
Oh, this is a rivalry. This has gotten real serious in the last few months on NXT. The Velveteen Dream has really caused Aleister Black a lot of headaches in for what it's worth. But it is the big show. It is the big event. NXT War Games in Houston. Dude, Aleister Black, I don't know what it is. When the light shines bright on the big stage, he really comes with it. For me, Aleister Black beats the Velveteen Dream. Nothing more to say, Flora. I'm just going to pass it off to you.
This feud has been incredible. It may actually be the best developed rivalry in all of WWE right now when you consider the restrictions that are inherent in the taped NXT brand. Black is one of the top wrestlers in WWE, whereas Dream is not only one of the youngest, but also one of the most improved year over year. Despite the tremendous step forward Dream has taken, he can eat a loss here as Black has bigger fish to fry. It would not be surprising to see him in the Royal Rumble in a couple months in Philadelphia, or as MF likes to call it, the Illadelphs. So I'm going with Aleister Black. He's my pick to win this match. So now let's get into the first of our 2 championship matches on this show. Fatal 4-way for the vacated NXT Women's Championship. The winner of the Mae Young Classic, Kairi Sane, squaring off against one half of the iconic duo, Peyton Royce, Ember Moon, and Sanity's Nikki Cross. Very tough to call here, honest to goodness. The title vacated by Asuka will be contested between the winner of the Mae Young Classic, Kairi Sane, Asuka's 2 prior competitors, Ember Moon and Nikki Cross, and a wild card in Peyton Royce. It is too early for Sane to win the title, and the fans would likely pop in a major way if either Moon or Cross takes the belt. There has not been a face women's champion in a while, but I have a sneaking suspicion that will continue. I'm going to take a chance here. This is very tough to call, like I said. I've gone with Ember Moon a couple of times, but they haven't pulled the trigger yet, and I wouldn't be surprised if they don't do it either. Ember Moon's my second choice, but I want to take a big chance here, and I'm going to say Nikki Cross walks out of Houston as the brand new NXT Women's Champion to give Sanity even more gold than they already had. Because remember, they have the tag team titles as well. So let's make Sanity, probably the second most powerful stable in NXT, only behind the Undisputed Era. And we're going to get into them in just a little bit. So taking a chance. I'm going with Nikki Cross to walk out the new NXT Women's Champion. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Ember Moon's my second choice. Like I said, Sane is too new, and I'm not sure about Peyton Royce, but it would be something because MF and I, we have a major thing for not just Peyton Royce, but also her tag team partner, Billie Kay.
Billie Kay. Yep.
How you doing? So nothing more to say on that. So I'm going to go with Nikki Cross. Like I said, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So, all right, MF, who's walking out the new NXT Women's Champion, the successor for Asuka?
I think this is the most toughest of them all. I don't think there's really there's no clear-cut favorite. There isn't. Ember Moon definitely could win the title. Nikki Cross can definitely win the title. Peyton Royce can definitely win the title. I don't know about Kairi Sane if she is really worthy enough. Even though I think what she's done lately has been really impressive. I don't know if she's really ready to really take the ball and be the next big NXT Women's Champion. I think that's the toughest thing to call. I'm going to go with you, and I'm going to say Nikki Cross as well, Anthony. There's something about Nikki that I like about her. Her attitude, what she brings to the table is amazing. Now, don't get me wrong. I would not be stunned if Peyton wins it or if Amber wins it. I think if Sane wins it, I'm stunned because there's no way that I think none of us thought that Sane was going to win the title. But if the other three wins it, I'm not going to be too angry with the victory. This is going to be a great matchup, great title fight here. I guess there's nothing more to say. It's NXT Championship fight next.
Absolutely, MF. Here we go. NXT Championship on the line. Champion Drew McIntyre defending the title against the #1 contender, Andre Cien Almas, with the lovely Zelina Vega in his corner. Again, I say, how you doing? So,
Yep.
all right, MF. Drew McIntyre, we all know he won the NXT Championship from the glorious Bobby Roode in Brooklyn.
Yep.
He's held it since. Andre Cien Almas, golden opportunity, biggest match in his NXT career. Can he do it? Can he dethrone the once known chosen one?
I'll tell you one thing. He's got a beautiful wild card in that one. When you get Zelina Vega as you're right there with you by your side, and let me tell you, when Andre Cialmas, when he trusted her and said, you know what, all right, you we've seen the attitude, we've seen the change in Andre Cialmas, and all of a sudden, now he's become a prime time player. This is not going to get any more bigger or any more amazing for him. This is a golden opportunity, but you're going up against the future shock. You're going up against, like you said, Anthony, the one-time chosen one of the WWE, chosen one by one Vincent Kennedy McMahon to be the future of the company. And without a doubt, Drew McIntyre has done it all. Success in TNA, good success in WWE, and more importantly, he has dominated in the European wrestling scene. He was a former ICW heavyweight champion of the world. And now, as the flag bearer of NXT, taking the belt from the glorious one, Bobby Roode, I just don't think it's Andre Cialmas' moment just yet. I think he's probably a little bit away. I got Drew McIntyre winning the match, successfully defending the title, and he's going to be walking out of NXT War Games still the NXT champion. Anthony, it's yours.
Zelina Vega has helped Almas take off as a legitimate main eventer, not only in storyline, but reality as well. She was the missing piece his character needed, and he went from being a sought after free agent to a near jobber to a real #1 contender. Titles do not change hands quickly in NXT, and unless a quick rise is planned for McIntyre, he should hang on to the championship at least for another couple of months, if not until New Orleans, just before WrestleMania. So I agree with you, MF. I too have Drew McIntyre walking out of Houston still the NXT champion. You ready, MF? Oh boy. We're going to have some fun now. The main event of NXT Takeover War Games for the first time since Fall Brawl 1998, when it was Team NWO Hollywood, Team NWO Wolfpack, and Team WCW. We're going to do it here. It's War Games. It's back. Sanity versus the Undisputed Era versus the Authors of Pain and Roderick Strong. Before I give you my pick, let me go over the rules. The 3-member teams will wage war inside a massive steel cage that surrounds 2 rings. All 3 teams will be contained inside separate shark cages by the entranceway, with a member from each team, as chosen by his respective squad, starting the match. After 5 minutes, the remaining members from one team will be released from their shark cage and allowed to enter the match. When another 3-minute period elapses, the remaining members from a second team are released from their shark cage and enter the match. Following one more 3-minute period, the final team's members are released from their shark cage and enter the match. Once all three teams have entered War Games, the match beyond begins, and victory can be attained by either pinfall or submission. Got it? So here we go. The build for this match has certainly been interesting and a bit rushed, considering War Games has previously been used to finally bring a conclusion to feuds that lasted a number of months without reaching an end. Still, it's going to be extremely fun to see WWE's take on the structure. As the tag team champions, Sanity would probably be the least likely to win, as they do not need it, but they're also by far the most legitimate looking group. Undisputed Era, from a size standpoint, is not necessarily a believable challenger to these two teams, particularly the AOP, which usually dominates its matches, but is teamed with Roderick Strong here basically out of nowhere. Perhaps the Undisputed Era will grow, giving them an unforeseen advantage in the match. Otherwise, it's really tough to book my prediction here. This is another one that could really go either way. If I'm going to be real honest with you, the Undisputed Era is the hottest thing going right now in NXT. Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and of course, Adam Cole, baby. That's all there is to say on that. So, this is going to be the fight of the night. This is going to steal the show. I mean, you think about War Games. You think about the legendary matches. I mean, I have a wonderful WWE DVD release called War Games, WCW's most notorious matches. 3-disc set. If you don't have it, I strongly recommend you pick it up at any DVD retailer, Walmart, Best Buy, the whole 9 yards. It's one of the greatest additions in my my home video library, no doubt about it. And you can relive all the glory days of War Games, and no doubt about it, all those memories will be conjured up when you watch this match tomorrow night. I know it's going to go through my mind. Thinking about Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen against Dusty Rhodes and a team of babyface superstars, and of course Sting's Squadron, the Dangerous Alliance. I mean, the NWO against WCW. I mean, I could go on and on forever about War Games. One of my all-time favorite matches, and I know it's one of MF's favorite matches too. But at the end of the night, I'm going with the Undisputed Era to win this match. They're the hot new toy in NXT right now. And I got this feeling that somewhere down the road, we're going to get that dream match for the NXT Championship. The big money match that we all want to see. Drew McIntyre and Adam Cole. When that goes down, Lordy, we're looking at a 5-star, no doubt. So, could they do it in Philadelphia in 2 months? Or could they save it for New Orleans and WrestleMania weekend? I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out soon enough. But it's going to happen. And I think the first step in getting there is for the Undisputed Era to win this match. And I think Adam Cole is going to score the winning fall. Undisputed Era wins War Games. MF, one of our all-time favorite matches for the first time since the 98 Fall Brawl. Have at it.
I got to say, WWE kind of watered it down a little bit, guys, because of the fact that if you remember in the original War Games, they never had shark cages when they had to hold the opponent. So that's one added wrinkle. The other added wrinkle I found out today, there's no roof on this War Games cage. It is an open roof cage. It's basically 2 rings, cage, a regular size steel cage engulfing the thing, but there is no roof. That actually makes an added element where somebody could actually get out of the cage and we might get some chaos outside of the ring. That actually brings an added element into the War Games that WCW never had, or even NWA never had. Because if you remember, in the original War Games, there was always a roof on top of it. So there was no way in, no way out. This time around, with the roof open, with no roof on the War Games cage, you can have some interesting situations where if somebody decides to climb up on the top of the cage and do a crazy move, they're going to do it. Or if somebody decides, you know what, I had enough of this, I want to get out of there, and somebody goes out and chases them outside of the War Games cage, look out. We could have a fight in the crowd, for heaven's sakes. This has an element of danger. Leave. But at the end of the day, I'm with Anthony Florio. My number 1 pick and the team that I believe will win it is the Undisputed Era. I do have Red Dragon and Adam Cole winning the War Games. I'm probably gonna say they'll beat Sanity. I think they'll get one of the members of Sanity in a pinning predicament to end War Games. Nothing more to say, Anthony. Let's just get into the Survivor Series.
The one night of the year where Raw and SmackDown Live go head to head. This year, you thought last year was personal? Oh no, it's even more personal this year. We got ourselves a best of 7 series. We'll get to that in a minute. We do have a kickoff match that we do have to address. A, because it's a major pay-per-view, and 2, because it's also a championship match. So it's a double standard here. Cruiserweight Championship on the line. Enzo Amore defending against Kalisto. MF, your thoughts on this Cruiserweight Championship kickoff match? And bravo WWE for once doing the right thing. This match had no place on the Survivor Series main card whatsoever. Good for you putting it on the kickoff match. Make it all about Raw versus SmackDown.
Yeah, no, it didn't. At the end of the day, I'm gonna be very short and sweet with it because I want to get into the Survivor Series. I'm gonna go with Enzo Amore to win. I just think right now, look, I think that Kalisto moment was a one-off because they kind of rushed him into that. But I think Enzo will find a way. He'll probably cheat. Buddies help him, but I got Enzo Amore successfully defending the title and remaining the Cruiserweight Champion of the world. Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, same here, MF. I got Enzo Amore by nefarious means successfully defending the Cruiserweight Championship. Wouldn't be surprised if Drew Gulak ends up getting involved because he's been very buddy with Drew Gulak lately. So I think Drew Gulak is probably going to be the deciding factor in that one. So yes, I agree with you, MF. It is Enzo Amore. He will successfully defend the Cruiserweight Championship and maybe put an end to this feud with Kalisto, and then maybe we can move him on to another challenger. Hopefully a more deserving challenger, maybe someone like Cedric Alexander. Sorry, I had to get that out. I mean, that's the one guy who's deserved a shot more than anybody, but I'm just saying. So, all right. You ready? Now we're going to have some fun. The one night of the year where Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live go head to head. Best of 7 series. 4 champion versus champion matches. 2 traditional Survivor Series elimination matches. And 1 6-man tag team grudge match. It's on. We're going to start it off with the first of our champion versus champion matches. It's the battle of the women's champions. Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss, one-on-one with the brand new SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair. And since Dee Dee Woodson is not here, we can get away with saying this. It's simply the goddess versus the queen. As of Tuesday morning, It looked like Alexa Bliss versus Natalya would be the match at Survivor Series. That changed when Charlotte Flair won the SmackDown Women's Championship this past Tuesday night on SmackDown Live, becoming Bliss's new opponent for the champion versus champion format. Since this match was put together 3 days ago, there will be no build before it. Of course, unless you consider this ongoing war between Raw and SmackDown Live enough to do it justice. On a 4-hour show, this match should get enough time, showcasing the leaders of the Red and Blue brand. It won't have the investment of a Shield versus New Day match or Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles, but these women are talented enough to deliver something quality. Along with this, there isn't meaning to this match. Again, that depends on your perception of the brand rivalry. But after Survivor Series ends, Bliss and Flair will head back to their respective shows, continuing rivalries with other women for their respective titles. As for the result, Charlotte had her feel-good moment with her father, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, at SmackDown Live Tuesday night. However, Natalya couldn't linger on Sunday, and there is a chance she could interfere. And if that happens, there's a very good chance Alexa Bliss walks out of this the winner. You're also looking at the two crown jewels of both of the women's division over the last few years. These are, to me, the two best performers on the main roster women's division right now. And on Sunday night, only one can walk out with the win. I know we're probably going to disagree on every match, and I know it's going to start here. I know it's probably going to be, I know people are going to say I'm being a homer here, but I don't give a damn. I think my women's champion, my show's women's champion, the goddess, Alexa Bliss, the 5 Feet of Fury, will find a way to get it done. She is the crown jewel of it right now. Once upon a time, Charlotte was the queen of Raw before the Superstars shakeup. She went to SmackDown Live. Alexa Bliss has been on Raw. And these are the two women, the only two women in history that can say, hey, we've won both the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships. And like I said, Charlotte did have that emotional feel-good moment, which was amazing. But I got to go with Alexa Bliss. I think she's the hottest thing going right now. Plus, I mean, Charlotte, hasn't been on much, mainly because of what happened to her father, back in the summer where he nearly lost his life. So I'm going with the Raw Women's Champion, Alexa Bliss, to represent the red brand as only she can. Score one for the goddess. So nothing more to say. MF, the goddess versus the queen. Basically, they've switched crown jewels of shows. I mean, Alexa, once upon a time, was the crown jewel of SmackDown Live, whereas Charlotte was on Raw. Now it's vice versa. Goddess versus the queen. Who you got?
This is going to be a tough fight. This is not an easy match to call. Like I said, when I said on SmackDown Live, when I did the Cerebral Smack Talk, I said Charlotte has all the momentum going with the feel-good moment, with her going in. Plus, after Raw did the invasion, got in on Charlotte Flair. Charlotte has not even gotten involved in the beatdown or anything else. She got her hands on the Raw women because that was part of the Survivor Series crew. She never got a shot at the goddess. She never had an opportunity to fight Alexa. Alexa put a forearm shiver to Charlotte Flair. That's going to come back to haunt Alexa on Sunday night. And yes, I think Natalya might interfere, but I think Natalya's got bigger fish to fry more than anything else. So obviously, this is a disagreement. I got Charlotte Flair winning the match. So we'll just move on to the next fight.
I'll be surprised, honestly, if we agree on any of these matches. So our next champion versus champion match, it's the battle of the secondary champions. Raw's Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, The Miz, one-on-one with SmackDown Live's United States Heavyweight Champion, the Lone Wolf, Baron Corbin. I smell another disagreement here, but MF, I know you're going to go with Baron Corbin. Tell me why you've got the Lone Wolf going over.
Actually, I don't. Not this fight. Because the thing is, Corbin's one man. With The Miz, you got to deal with the Miz Taraj. Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, it's a 3-on-1. Even with those odds, I don't like it. And as much as Corbin can be a dirty little rat, Miz is just a straight up weasel. I can't trust him. I don't like him. And it's going to be cheating by The Miz to get him over Corbin because he can't fight him like a real man. Like Corbin has said, basically after he blasted The Miz about being a man, but I'm not getting there. I got The Miz winning this because of interference or misinterference by the Miz Taraj. Florio, it's yours.
Wow, we actually agree. I don't believe it. I thought for sure we were going to disagree on all of these, but yeah, I'm right there with you. But let me make my point here. In a battle between the United States and Intercontinental Heavyweight Champions, it will be Baron Corbin versus The Miz in the first of 2 heel matches. WWE had 3 of these bout types before switching the SmackDown Women's Championship from Natalya to Charlotte Flair. The Miz has done well to make this feud feel personal, cutting intense promos on Twitter and TV. These went beyond the brand rivalry and sounded personal, with one referencing The Miz's pregnant wife Maurice. Due to this, look for these to get the A-lister cheers against the Lone Wolf. Like the women's match, there are no implications for either superstar. Whether Miz or Corbin win, they'll go back to their respective brand and move forward. So unless WWE adds a last-minute stipulation, which has happened before, this will be a standard match. Let's give Miz the win here. He's the veteran WWE star of the two, whose work as Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion will make him go down as one of the best to hold the belt. So if we're playing favorites, then look for him to edge Corbin and give Raw its second win, at least in my eyes, at Survivor Series. So MF has it 1-1. I have it 2-0 for the Red Brand, the A Show, Monday Night Raw. I got The Miz going over here. Next up, it's the battle of the Tag Team Champions. Raw Tag Team Champions, The Bar, Cesaro and Sheamus, squaring off against SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Jimmy and Jay, the Usos. Before this year started, who would have thought Cesaro and Sheamus had the chance to be 3-time Raw Tag Team Champions? After defeating Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose on Raw a couple weeks ago in Manchester, England, it became a reality and set up this match against the Usos. This will be the second of the heel versus heel matches, one that may be difficult for the crowd to root for. Cesaro and Sheamus just defeated 2 of Raw's most popular babyfaces for titles, which won't make them beloved. The Usos fall in a somewhat similar boat, having defeated the New Day for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships in that epic Hell in a Cell match in Detroit last month. Though almost every match was an instant classic, so the crowd may favor the more flashy team of the two. A recurring theme will be the lack of stakes. There was nothing added to this battle of Tag Team Champions, meaning it's a standard tag match that will hopefully be an entertaining one. Given the 4 men that will be in the ring, there's every reason to think it shines and has show-stealing potential. For the winner, I say look for the Usos to get it. Their work for most of 2017 has been admirable, including the series of matches with the New Day. Raw's not going to run the table, even though I would love to see that happen. I got to give SmackDown Live one. And I think this is the best chance for SmackDown Live to get a win here. And even though Cesaro and Sheamus have been amazing, let's also not forget last year at Survivor Series, for the first time in 20 years, they brought back the first time ever the 10 versus 10 tag team match. And while it may not have been as fun and entertaining as 87 and 88 were, who were the final 2 teams in that match? It was the Bar and it was the Usos. And it was the Bar who went over, giving Team Raw the victory in that match. An amazing 5.5-minute sprint. This will be a lot more than 5.5 minutes, I'll tell you that. And I think this is going to be a potential show stealer as well. But considering what happened last year, I think they'll give the Usos the win back here. So pains me to say it, but I got to go with SmackDown Live in this one. I got to go with the Usos. to pick up the win here and welcome the Bar to the Uso Penitentiary. Nothing more to say. MF Battle of Tag Team Champions. The
I
Bar.
agree.
Yep.
I agree. I agree. The Usos are the brightest things on SmackDown Live in the tag team division. Don't get me wrong. If this would have been the Shield versus the Usos, this would have been a lot more tougher to pick. But for me, this was more easier when the Bar won the tag team titles by themselves as the ultimate team. I'm sorry. I agree with you, Anthony. I can't believe you came over on Team Blue side on this one, but I believe Team Blue match. Yes, the Usos will win it. That would give me 2-1 on Team SmackDown, while you got 2-1 on Raw end. So let's go to match number 4 of the series.
And it's the 6-man tag team grudge match. It's the Shield versus the New Day. All right, MF. Shield and New Day. Ooh, is this going to be fun?
This one's tough. This one's actually tough to call because of the fact that what are they going to do with the Shield after this? Are they going to continue to have them work together as a unit, or is there a split up imminent? Because there was been talk about a possible split. Could it happen here at the Survivor Series? That's the big question. If the answer is no, Shield wins. If the answer is they're gonna have them split up at this event, New Day wins, and I get the ultimate victory, because of the fact that with everything that was riding on the fight, this would be the ultimate victory for me because it was solidified that the New Day is the best stable group in WWE today. Really, one of the best stable groups of all time in WWE's history with the Shield. So this is really tough to call because the New Day's done it all. When it comes to tag team success and the whole 9 yards. But then again, the Shield is the Shield. We saw what they did on the invasion on SmackDown Live. They really did a number on a lot of people in that situation. How's that going to play out? What's the ultimate end game here? I'm gonna obviously I want to go. My heart is saying New Day, but my head is saying Shield. So I'm kind of torn on this. But because I have a working theory going on, I'm gonna give it to the Shield. This gives me 2-2 on my overall count. So for me, 2-2. Anthony, it's yours.
Wow. I can't believe I'm saying this, but MF went with the red. MF went with the red team. I got to go with the blue team in this one. I'm going with New Day to win this.
Wow.
Yeah, call me crazy. I want to see it come down to the wire. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I want to see it come down to the wire too.
I don't want to have no lopsidedness like last.
No,
so
I don't think there will be no lopsidedness. I think this could end up being a 4-3, but we'll see in a minute how it plays out. Go ahead.
Okay. For those that were disappointed about no Roman Reigns on Team Raw or Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose versus the Usos, this should be quality compensation. Maybe match of the year worthy compensation. For those who didn't watch WWE during the Shield's run of November 2012 through June 2014, the Shield delivered some of the best 6-man tag matches in recent memory. These were a staple of the pre-brand split era, main eventing Raw against almost any trio and delivering matches to remember. At Survivor Series, these three will face maybe the best trio of them all in the New Day. This has the potential to top the series of Wyatt family matches in 2014, the good version of Bray Wyatt's group, and not the second or third incarnations. With everything that Big E, Kofi, and Xavier can do in the ring, along with their chemistry with almost every WWE tag team, they should have no issue at doing their part to make this memorable. The Shield won't last forever. Reigns, Rollins, and Ambrose are established single stars that can do fine on their own, as seen in the past 3 years. Having the latter two lose the Raw Tag Team Championships began this narrative's push, along with the three getting a win together on Raw this past Monday night against The Bar and The Miz. That may have been WWE's way to make sure the reunited version received at least one victory together before inevitably parting ways. Losing at Survivor Series can be the next step, with minor miscommunication coming into play that gets shrugged off for now. It can be the first obvious sign of what's to come, especially as Royal Rumble season approaches in 6 weeks. New Day will get this win and further cement their legacy. They have longevity with no indication of a breakup anytime soon. So let's make it a tie ball game at 2-2. I'm going with the New Day to defeat the Shield. And that's all there is to it. So now let's move on to the first of our two traditional Survivor Series elimination matches. This one featuring the women, the Women's Revolution. Here we go. Representing Monday Night Raw, you have team captain Alicia Fox. Her team members comprise of Nia Jax, the Boss Sasha Banks, Asuka, and Bayley. And they will square off against, representing SmackDown Live, team captain Becky Lynch. And her partners comprise of Naomi, Miss Money in the Bank Carmella, Tamina Snuka, and a potential mystery partner. Now remember, Charlotte Flair was originally supposed to be on this team, but because of the fact that Charlotte won the SmackDown Women's Championship this past Tuesday night on SmackDown Live, we got a free spot. We all assumed it was going to be Natty. We thought it was going to be Natalya. It could still be Natalya, but two names have come up. It could be the future Mrs. John Cena and Nikki Bella, or it could be the returning beauty from Norwich, England by the name of Paige. I'm thinking it's going to be Paige. That's all I can say it is. So the first of the two 5-on-5 matches go to the women with Team Raw versus Team SmackDown Live. It's Asuka, Alicia Fox, Bayley, Nia Jax, and Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch, Carmella, Naomi, Tamina, and the mystery partner. Charlotte Flair was supposed to be the fifth teammate for this match, but winning the SmackDown Women's Championship took her out of the mix. That leaves someone like Natalya as the obvious replacement unless someone returns. With her Dancing with the Stars duties complete, Nikki Bella makes the most sense as the fifth member. She's still part of the SmackDown Live roster and has been away since WrestleMania, so the stars could align for a return. The other choice, of course, is Paige, who hasn't appeared on WWE programming since the weeks before the 2016 draft. She was selected to Monday Night Raw, but things can always change. For the match, well, this is a tough one for me. It would be difficult to see Team Raw not win, especially if the goal is to make Asuka a dominant force. It's an elimination match, so having her drop out means taking a pinfall, submission, count out, or disqualification. The latter would be the obvious path if Team SmackDown gets booked to win. But pulling an old Rusev booking trick looks lazy. Make the Empress the impact player she should be and win this match for the Red brand, which would put Raw up in my count 3-2. This is tough. I mean, my gut is telling me, I don't know why, but my gut is telling me to go with SmackDown Live, but my heart is telling me to go with Raw. I know my liner notes basically indicated a Team Raw win, mainly because of Asuka. But and that could happen. You never know. They could put Raw over here because of Asuka. Asuka could be the difference maker for this match. But considering that Raw won the women's match last year, I got a feeling they're going to want to give SmackDown Live the win here. So before I get into that, look at the Raw team. The Raw team is basically a carbon copy of last year. Just swap out Charlotte Flair for Asuka. The other four are the same from last year. Pretty almost the same from SmackDown Live's end, because Becky was in it last year. I believe Carmella was in it last year, and Naomi. Tamina Snuka, I don't believe was. I believe Natalia was in that, and but nonetheless, though, very tough to call. Honest to goodness, it really is. Of course, I want Raw to win, definitely, but the only way Raw wins is if they, if they decide to, have Asuka dominate like she did in NXT and have Asuka go over. That's the only way that's the only way the red team wins. But considering that last year, like I said, the Raw women won last year, I wouldn't be surprised if they decide to put the SmackDown women over. So I'm going to go reluctantly. I'm going to go with the SmackDown Live women to win this. I think Becky Lynch is going to be the difference maker. And maybe even Naomi. I could see maybe Becky and Naomi coming out of this. I don't know. It'll be very interesting to see which combo comes out of it. I think there's going to be more than one sole survivor if SmackDown wins. But if Raw wins, I wouldn't be surprised if Asuka ends up being the sole survivor. So this can go either way. I wouldn't be surprised how it goes. But I'm taking a chance here. I'm going with SmackDown Live to win and put them up temporarily 3-2. So, all right, MF. Your SmackDown Live women against my Raw women. Who you got?
I got SmackDown women. I got the SmackDown women because I think it's either going to be Nikki or Paige is the fifth member. If it is either Paige or Nikki, that's ball game. Because with Paige, I mean, come on, multi-time champion, multi-time Divas champion, the first woman ever to have the NXT Women's and the Divas Championship at the exact same time. I mean, no, this is it's over and done with. It is an open and shut case. If it's Nikki Bella, forget it. That's John Cena's future wife. I mean, come on. Do you know how much power she's got now in WWE? This is SmackDown all the way. Then we give me 3-2 SmackDown lead. So, Anthony, it's yours going into the next fight.
And let's see what that is.
Should be the men.
Well, according to my sheet, it's a little bit differently, but you know what? I think that's how we should do it. I mean, because I got a feeling the world champion match is probably going to be the main event. So,
yeah, I agree with that.
So let's do that. We go from the women's traditional Survivor Series elimination match to the men's traditional Survivor Series elimination match. Although you can make an argument that this could be the main event too. You never know. You could easily have this as the main event. But here we go. The men's traditional Survivor Series elimination match. Representing Monday Night Raw, team captain, general manager, and Hall of Famer Kurt Angle. His partners comprise of the monster among men, Braun Strowman, the Demon, Finn Balor, the Samoan submission machine, Samoa Joe, originally Jason Jordan, and he's out, the Game, the King of Kings, the cerebral assassin, Triple H. And representing SmackDown Live, team captain, Commissioner Shane McMahon, and he's assembled only the greatest Survivor Series elimination team of all time, super team indeed, consisting of the greatest performer in traditional Survivor Series matches of all time, the Viper Randy Orton, the glorious Bobby Roode, the king of the strong style, Shinsuke Nakamura, and last but not least, the champ, John Cena. MF, before I give it to you, I think we're both in agreement. This is going to be the fight of the night. I think this has the potential to go down as the greatest traditional Survivor Series elimination match of all time, surpassing last year's Epic Classic.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. And get ready for a major overbook. There's going to be screwy finishes. There's going to be some interference all over the place. I think Kane's going to show up. He's going to screw over Braun Strowman. That's going to cause a major elimination for Monday Night Raw. Strowman will not make it to the end. I also think Jason Jordan's going to come out. I think he's going to interfere and either cause Triple H Angle in that fight as well. I think you're going to see a major elimination there, and that's going to screw over Monday Night Raw as well. My feeling is that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn will both appear in this fight, and they're going to screw over on SmackDown Live. I think they're going to cause a couple of eliminations on their end, causing a major rip on that. But once you get down to the nooks and cranny of it, for some odd reason, I think this fight. Remember, last year, SmackDown won the men's Survivor Series matchup. They won it with Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt a year ago. I think they're going to give Raw the win back on this one. And Anthony, just like they did with the women, I think it's going to flip. SmackDown women will win on the girls' side. I think the Raw men will win on this side. And on my scorecard, this will take it to 3-3 with one to go. So for me, Raw wins it. I think the Survivor, I'm going to go and say possibly Triple H and Samoa Joe as the survivors for the match. Florio, it's yours.
Oh boy, howdy! This is going to be, man. I mean, y'all remember what happened last year? Last year was the greatest traditional Survivor Series match of all time. That was a 5-star classic, Shakespearean drama, sickest Survivor Series match I ever saw. And I got a feeling this one's going to be even better. You can make the argument that this men's 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series elimination match is penciled in as the main event, especially when you have John Cena, Randy Orton, Triple H, Shane McMahon, and Kurt Angle in the fold. Joining them are some of the WWE's best talents today: Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, Bobby Roode, Braun Strowman, and Shinsuke Nakamura, meaning there's no lack of star power, and should mean the fans are treated to a wild showing. A criticism of this match has been the average age of the performers. It lingers around 40 years old, with no one younger than 34. Despite that, there's little doubt about this delivering and being one that pushes the needle. Everyone involved is a marketable star that will draw interest. Sure, having Triple H replace Jason Jordan wasn't 100% necessary, but it did put the match over the top and gave it a special feel, since the WWE COO rarely wrestles anymore. Subplots will be in the background of this match. Jordan may interfere to cost Team Raw, while Stephanie McMahon could find a way to turn this match upside down if she interrupts. Team SmackDown could see Jinder Mahal appear, as long as he doesn't cost AJ Styles against Brock Lesnar. This match can go either way. Frankly, a win means nothing, as this bout will be about the big names competing and putting on a show for the fans. I mean, it could go one way. It could go for SmackDown Live, as there are more storylines for Team Raw if they lose, including the potential power struggle between Triple H and Kurt Angle that becomes a possible match at WrestleMania 34, which could very well happen. But for my taste, I agree, MF. I mean, we've had 2 Raw versus SmackDown men's Survivor Series matches. Both of them went the way of SmackDown. 2005, Randy Orton was the sole survivor in that match. And then last year, Randy Orton, along with Bray Wyatt, were the sole survivors for Team SmackDown Live last year. Raw is due to win a match. I mean, I know Derek Ferrera has gone on the record and said that Jason Jordan was going to ultimately screw over Team Raw and lead SmackDown Live to victory, which could lead to Kurt Angle losing his general manager job. and getting, the ultimate humiliation at the hands of Stephanie McMahon. And it also could bring back the return of the most hated group of all time in the Authority. And if we do get the Authority, Stephanie and or Triple H, look out. Michael Bullock's going to go on a major riot. So, because Michael Bullock hates the Authority more than any of us do. But that could happen. That very easily could happen. But I'm going with the scenario that brought me to the dance. The only way Raw can win this match is if Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens screw over SmackDown Live. Maybe Shane O'Mac. So they could screw over Shane O'Mac. They could also screw over Randy Orton. And they could also screw over Shinsuke Nakamura. Since Orton and Nakamura beat Owens and Zayn in qualifying matches, on recent editions of SmackDown Live. So I'm going to go with UMF. I'm going to go with the Red Brand to win here, to even the score at 3 apiece. Team Raw finally wins a men's traditional Survivor Series elimination match. They're due here. I don't know who the survivors will be. That's too tough to call. So that's all there is to say on that. So now let's go to the match that, in my opinion, will probably be the main event. The Battle of the World Champions. Raw's Universal Champion, the Beast Incarnate Brock Lesnar, along with his advocate Paul Heyman, squaring off against SmackDown's WWE Champion, the phenomenal AJ Styles. For weeks, it looked like Brock Lesnar and Jinder Mahal would collide in a Universal versus WWE Champion match. That changed on the United Kingdom episode of SmackDown Live when AJ Styles won the WWE Championship for the second time and became the new opponent of the Beast Incarnate at Survivor Series. Lesnar versus Styles may be a dream match for some, pitting two men who have been around wrestling since the early 2000s. They broke in at the same time, but for different companies, and became top faces until Brock Lesnar left in 2004. So for those who follow their respective careers, this might be the highlight of Survivor Series. Outside of a pinfall loss to Bill Goldberg last year, Lesnar's dominance has stretched since WrestleMania 30, when he famously ended The Undertaker's undefeated streak. And of course, we'll leave out that bizarre ending at SummerSlam 2015. So it's a rarity for anyone to take the former next big thing down. Given Styles' wrestling pedigree, him winning would make some sense. But it's difficult to believe anyone not named Roman Reigns defeats Lesnar between Survivor Series and WrestleMania 34. This will still be a good match. But if the Phenomenal One gets tasked with making his opponent look great in about 10 minutes, then it will disappoint. But I got this feeling this is going to be another very good match. This has the potential to be Brock Lesnar's best match, probably maybe since Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 31, or maybe even CM Punk at SummerSlam 2013, or even the Cena match at Extreme Rules 2012, or that cage match with Triple H in 2013. But I said it on Raw. I said it on Ridiculously Raw Monday night. I'm going to say it again here. Ever since this match first came about, it doesn't matter. It didn't matter if it was AJ Styles or Jinder Mahal. I mean, if Jinder Mahal, come on, you knew Lesnar was going to win easily. But this match went from a gimme to one where Brock has to earn it. Brock would have had no trouble with Jinder Mahal whatsoever. He would have done to Jinder Mahal what Bill Goldberg did to him last year. He would have squashed him in 90 seconds. If it had still been Jinder Mahal. But since it's AJ Styles, it's going to be a much longer match. I can see this going about 20 or so minutes. But at the end of the day, I'm going with the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar, the Universal Champion. And with that, that would give Team Raw the win of the series. Raw would win the series 4-3, and would give the A show, Monday Night Raw, well and much deserved bragging rights. I mean, I read a dirt sheet saying that Vince McMahon apparently wants to have Team Raw come out on top at Survivor Series. And one good reason, of course, is 2 months from now at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn and the Manhattan Center in Manhattan, the Hammerstein Ballroom. for a rare event. It'll be the 25th anniversary of Monday Night Raw, January the 22nd of 2018, 6 days before the Royal Rumble, by the way. And a great way to have, and I couldn't think of a better way for Monday Night Raw to have some great momentum going into that show in a couple months than to have them win this best of 7 series at the Survivor Series. And Brock Lesnar, I believe, is the man who will bring it home for the red team and the A show. So, winner of the match, Universal Champion, the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar, and in my opinion, Monday Night Raw wins the Survivor Series, gets the ultimate bragging rights, and I'll be impossible to deal with if that's the case. So, nothing more to say here. MF, Brock Lesnar, AJ Styles, Universal Champion versus WWE Champion. Who you got?
Well, I'm just gonna say it. I think it's gonna be a good match. I think it's gonna be a big fight. Yes. I heard a theory, and I'm gonna run this by you. I think the reason why SmackDown wins and AJ wins is because you're gonna have a couple of defectors from Monday Night Raw. The rumor going around that I heard was some couple of good brothers is gonna interfere and actually help AJ win. When I mean good brothers, I mean Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, and you might see a reuniting quote unquote club that we saw not too long ago. So I think what's going to happen is you're going to see a tainted victory by SmackDown, but it will be it'll be well worth it. Winner of the bout, WWE champion AJ Styles, and that would give SmackDown Live the victory in the Survivor Series, 4 matches to 3 in my book. Nothing more to say, Florio.
Man, overall thoughts on this event? I mean, well, how do MF? I mean, what are your final thoughts, final projections going
Right
into
now, I could see this being about an 8.5. Just because of the fact of the body of work, everything that was leading into the Survivor Series. It's so exciting overall. I think NXT will be better than the Survivor Series this year, but because of the War Games element. But for me, those should be in the 8 to 8.5 level as far as expectations go. I hope they nail it. But we're going to have to wait and see on Sunday night how it comes out. But for me, 8 to 8.5 is my expectation for this event.
I'm leaning more towards 9 out of 10. If I'm going to be real honest with you, I got a great feeling about the Survivor Series. I think this can end up being the greatest Survivor Series event of all time. This is the most stacked card I have seen for an event in a very long time. I mean, this is looking like a 9 to 9.5 show. I'm looking forward to every single match on this show. The only match I'm a little iffy about is The Miz and Baron Corbin. That's the only match I don't really have a good feeling about. But the 6 other matches all have the potential to be show stealers. They really do. I think the men's traditional Survivor Series match is going to be the fight of the night. I think AJ and Lesnar is going to be the second best fight of the night. The tag teams probably go 3. Shield and New Day probably 4. Um, Alexa and Charlotte 5. The women's Survivor match 6, and of course Miz and Corbin by default I think will be the worst fight of the night. So, but nonetheless, man, SmackDown Live, Monday Night Raw. I mean, this is going to be one for the history books, and I'm honestly just looking forward to this. I mean, I thought I was excited last year, but I'm even more excited this year. Like I said, I think this is going to be the greatest one ever. So there's honestly really nothing left for us to say here. So that will put the bow on this very special edition of the Wrestling Forum, our preview of NXT Takeover War Games and Survivor Series. We have a much deserved night off tomorrow. Besides, MF has some very special plans tomorrow night. He'll be attending the big RWA Thanksgiving Throwdown show tomorrow night. I'm sure he'll have a review for us either late tomorrow night or sometime on Sunday. I don't know. We'll see. But or maybe he'll just save it for the Mikey's Mindset on the next Cerebral Smack Talk. That's very possible. So we'll see what he decides to do. But we're going to enjoy the War Games and tomorrow night. But we'll next be with you Sunday night, immediately following the Survivor Series. Hop on over to MF's channel, Brace Fan 95. I promise we'll all be here. MF will be here. I'll be here. Michael Bullock will be here. Dee Woodson will be here. And we'll run down, we'll give you our complete thoughts on Survivor Series. And we'll find out who gets the bragging rights. Does Raw get the bragging rights? Do I get the bragging rights? Or will SmackDown Live get the bragging rights for MF? But one thing is for sure. Myself or MF is going to be impossible to deal with come Sunday night, believe me. So, all right, that's it. So until Sunday night for our Survivor Series recap over on Brace 395, it's your ridiculously over good brother Anthony Floyer here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, and in spirit, the Phenom Michael Bullock, the Twisted Angel Dee Woodson, and the Hardcore Pipe Bomb Falcon Striker 445 Derek Ferrera. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune Forest style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed weekend. Enjoy all the football. Enjoy the War Games. Enjoy the Survivor Series. And until our Survivor Series recap Sunday night, you've been watching this very special edition of the Wrestling Forum, our preview of TakeOver War Games and Survivor Series right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. And remember, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio. So long.